Hi there, my name is Max, and today I will be discussing the horrific events of the Christchurch earthquake. I believe the sheer amount of damage caused by the quakes and the preceding aftershocks could have been prevented if proper precautions and designs had been implemented into the buildings in that area. The Christchurch earthquake occurred on the 22nd of February 2011, with an epicentre in the township of Christchurch, New Zealand. The magnitude 6.2 earthquake was 5 kilometres deep and occurred at roughly 12:30 in the afternoon. This catastrophic event happening in the peak hour of lunchtime is a key contributing factor which led to the death of 185 civilians. The entire city was destroyed by the earthquake, and to this day, buildings are being demolished and rebuilt due to the earthquake damage. One particular event I will be investigating is the collapse of the Christchurch CTV building. This particular building accounted for the death of 115 people, roughly 60% of the total death count. The collapse of this building has been identified as an engineering failure, as the building wasn't designed properly. After the earthquake, an investigation was ran and the findings were haunting. Gerald Shirtcliffe, the engineer responsible for the supervision of the building, had stolen the identity of William Fisher, a retired engineer. Shirtcliffe stole William's name and therefore was not educated or qualified to make any engineering decisions on a building of such scale. This led the basis of the investigation into the design of the building by the Royal Commission of Inquiry. The trial was run over an 8-week period where evidence was presented to the Commission. The building was designed by Allen Ray Consultants Limited by a designer named David Harding. It was discovered that David had never designed a building of over 2 stories before, and he was working beyond his own competence. Director of the firm Allen Ray stated in trial that he himself did not think the building was up to standard, but that non-compliant elements of the building were not obvious. This inevitably led the Commission to a decision released on the 10th of December 2012 that stated the design was deficient and should not have been approved. David was found to have no experience with this type of project, and the company pressured city officials to approve the design. Taking a closer look at this engineering failure, it seems that the steel infrastructure was not designed properly. A major flaw in the design of the building was a lack of ductility within the structural members and joint areas. This meant that the intense resonance of the ground below the building due to the earthquake created movement that the supporting structure of the building was not designed to withstand, which led to the collapse. It was also found that the north wall complex and south coupled shear wall, which were designed to withstand the lateral loads of an earthquake, did not perform as expected. Christchurch is extremely close to the Greendale fault line, which leaves the region very susceptible to earthquakes. The CTV building was built in 1986, so architects knew very well that the building needed to be properly reinforced if an earthquake was to occur. The building was not designed to allow for resonance and ground movement, which is inevitably the reasoning for the collapse and mechanical failure. The engineers involved should have designed a supporting structure capable of withstanding seismic loading. One suggestion I have is that they should have designed an infrastructure similar to that of Te Papa Museum in Wellington. As pictured, Te Papa is built on a series of pillars consisting of a thick concrete top and bottom pad enclosing a very thick rubber pad. These rubber pads are designed to absorb any resonance from the ground in the event of an earthquake. This prevents the building from collapsing. This is a great idea and would have significantly reduced the damage caused by the earthquake if other buildings in the area had the same supporting infrastructure. What we can learn from this case is that it is so important to take into account the possibility of a natural disaster and required protection when designing buildings in high-risk areas. Any engineer planning to design a building must take into account the risk of an earthquake in that region, and if their design has adequate capabilities to withstand such a disaster. We have also learnt that there are designs such as the rubber pads installed at Te Papa to prevent collapse in the event of an earthquake, so there is no excuse why other engineers cannot apply the same principles to their own designs. I hope this presentation was informative and you have gained some knowledge. Thank you for watching.